But life goes on, and this old world will keep on turning. Let's just be glad we had some time to spend together. There's no need to watch the bridges that we're burning. Lay your head upon my pillow. Hold your warm and tender body close to mine. Hear the whisper of the raindrops blowing soft against the window, and make believe you love me one more time for the good time. I'll get along. You'll find another, and I'll be here if you should find you ever need me. Don't say a word about tomorrow or forever. There'll be time enough for sadness when you leave me. Lay your head upon my pillow. Hold your warm and tender body close to mine. Hear the whisper of the raindrops blowing soft against the window, and make believe you love me one more time for the good time.
On 920 WGHQ, 1260 WBNR, 1420 WLNA, 92.5 and 96.5 FM, this is Real Country Traffic.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Central Hudson reminds you that summer thunderstorms can strike with strong, gusty winds, knocking down trees and power lines. If you see a downed power line, call 911 immediately to report it. Power lines can carry an electric current strong enough to cause injury or death. Stay at least 30 feet away from a fallen line. Don't try to move it or anything that has come in contact with it. And never drive over a power line. Remember, your safety matters.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Flash!
Boom!
All right, man. Flash and boom. It's Thunder Thursday.
Subdued this morning on my boom. I'm tired. Little low rumble of thunder in the back here.
Little grumbling.
Good. Yeah, good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm
Scott.
Great. Good morning, Lawrence.
Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Lawrence.
Good morning, Kingston.
All right, man. Yeah, we're here.
Good morning to World Headquarters on Lower Broadway. I hope you guys are tuned in.
Yeah,
I'm told
doing good.
I'm told that we are that we're followed closely by lots of
good.
Lots of our friends in Kingston.
That's great.
And the surrounding community, which is really
good to hear.
Good to hear.
Yep.
I know that.
Appreciate that.
Yep. You know what? I want you to brag on your first.
Oh yeah.
What you told me on the way in, I think is super
important. So as most of you know, I'm district governor for Rotary District 72 in Governor. And that's not Cuomo, it's Marmo.
You're not a tool.
I'm not.
You're not
exactly. It is 5 letters though. I have to pull his Italian card.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's 8 counties and 55 clubs and making visits to every club. And Leanne and I went up to the Monticello Rotary Club just Wednesday night, and I was so pleased and amazed, Scott.
That's great.
So here's the story. The president, Todd Groden, who's teacher at the Monticello School District, and he's also I think he's on the Board of Education at Monticello. So he's a really good guy, smart guy, and they came up with the idea of recognizing each month someone from law enforcement because of all the craziness that's going on and the anti-police sentiment that's out there. And so Wednesday night there was a young fellow, Deputy Sheriff Pratty, who was going up to Albany Medical Center on some kind of a deal he had to be up there for. On the way back, he came up to a vehicle that was pulled over. Apparently, there are 2 guys that had been shot in there, probably bad guys, quite honestly. We're not really sure, but he didn't know. He didn't care. He saved.
There were bad guys somewhere, but
yeah, there were bad guys somewhere that shot these 2. But he saved, with some field packing, he saved one of these guys' lives. The other one passed away, unfortunately. And Under Sheriff Shabati said he could have just kept driving. It was not apparent. It was just a car pulled over.
He just did the right thing.
He did the right thing. Exactly. He did the right thing, and so he was recognized. Deputy Sheriff Patty was not Patty. It's what did I say?
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, he was recognized. So 3 members of the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department and 3 state troopers were there. It was so great. It was, and the Rotary Club. I think 25 people there.
The Rotary Club's going to honor an officer every month.
Correct.
Because the reputation of police is being destroyed incorrectly across our country.
Yep. And they've chosen to do the right thing and shine a light on all the great work that's been done that really never gets reported by the Freeman.
Oh no, we don't see that good story about this young officer.
Never
in the Freeman.
You'll never see anything like that.
There it is. There's the picture. Hold on.
Pratty is the guy's name, Pratty.
Deputy Pratty.
Yep.
There's the St. Augustine cartel.
Oh, man, nice.
Listening this morning.
All right, guys, thank you for your support.
You know where they are? They're at Kookaburra. There's Blaine.
Yeah.
Bad Andy, and Chuck.
That's great.
Right?
Welcome, guys.
These
Good
are
morning.
My fishing partners.
Good morning. All right.
These are my best friends. I love you guys. Thank you for being supporters and listening.
That's cool beans,
Bad Andy was on the radio while you were away. He's the famous author.
Yeah. The Black Hand.
Black Hand. Yes,
right. I remember that.
Chuck is my my offshore guru, and Blaine.
Does that mean he finds the fish?
Chuck finds the fish, baby. Chuck caught my son a big king mackerel this year.
Wow.
And Blaine caught the world record speckled sea trout this past winter.
Those are serious guys.
Big Fish Creek, right, boys? We call it Big Fish Creek now.
Big Fish Creek.
We named it Big Fish Creek. And I appreciate their loyalty and their friendship.
Awesome.
Blaine is my Christian guide as well.
Good.
He is one of the best people you'll ever meet in your life.
Awesome.
He's the guy that goes to Haiti like you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. He's involved in the CORE organization, KORE. He's a missionary.
I've heard of it.
For them.
Yep.
Anyway, these are my friends, and thank you for listening.
Thank you,
I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you too because Scott loves you.
There's enough love for everybody here, baby.
Because there's enough hate out there, man. There's enough hate.
Too many haters.
There's too many haters. And people got to get back to what we have in common, not our differences, right? We got to keep thinking about that. What do we have in common?
Say a prayer.
Take care of each other.
Listen, pray, do the right thing, treat others as you would be treated.
Right.
It's all we have to do. I announced last week, and there's been some anticipation of my commentary on the police commission of which I was denied
rejected.
the opportunity. You're out.
Yeah.
Myself and every other proud former retired law enforcement person or their families denied the right, the civil right, to participate in our government and be on a board.
That you have imminent experience.
25 years and
come on.
Thousands of hours of training and knowledge, which I'd like to share.
Right.
And by the way, I am not the most qualified person to have been rejected.
Yeah.
There have been former sheriffs, former officers.
Don't get it.
That have applied and been told, no, you can't. We don't want you. You can't participate.
I don't get the logic.
So I watched the police commission meeting.
How'd that go?
Well, first of all, the one 2 weeks ago was not a police commission meeting. It was a public comment format that went horribly wrong.
Yep.
For lack of respect. The lack of respect by the commentators talking over each other. Using the platform to forward a political agenda, disregarding facts. And just using, so that's too bad.
Who leads that?
It was well-intentioned by the city, by the mayor. I would say it was a well-intentioned
just to have a dialogue,
effort,
a civil discourse.
Give people a place to spout off. But these people have no respect for themselves. Therefore, they have no respect for anyone else. And are not able to participate in normal human interaction and conversation in that manner, which is sad. But I watched this week's police commission meeting. What I will say...
Better? Worse? Same?
Much better.
Much better, okay.
4 well-intentioned people and the mayor. Good people,
folks, right?
Good folks, all. Good folks, all. No depth of background in what they're regulating. Therefore, they don't have answers. The chief,
but what's their role? Let's just say what's their role.
Gosh, that was the question that one of the members finally asked the mayor.
What is the role?
What do we do here?
Yeah, what's our purpose? Because you have Chief Tinty, he's in charge of the police force. I mean, that's what he does.
But he's not a member of the police commission.
Yeah, stunning.
Been removed.
Stunning. Sheriff Juan Figueroa, great guy. He is a leader. He's in charge of the force and
CEO of the sheriff's office.
CEO of the sheriff's office, and his boss is Pat Ryan. So
no, I'm
not.
sorry.
Oh, no kidding.
His boss is not Pat Ryan.
His boss is nobody.
His bosses are you and I.
Okay, fine.
We elect. The sheriff is an elected
independent
position.
of.
There's our plastic Jesus. Thank you. Good morning. How do we start without you? There you go. Wayne, he's pointing right at you, brother. He's pointing right at you.
I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I got my plastic Jesus riding on the dashboard of my car. Woo! I can go 100 miles an hour, as long as I got the almighty power glued up there by my pair of fuzzy dice. All right.
Thank you. Amen. Dr. Billy Saul Hargis in the First Church of Good Death and Discount House of Worship. Coming at you live from Kingston, New York.
From Del Rio, Texas.
The sheriff is elected by the people.
Independent.
He reports to no one but us.
Okay, cool.
He follows the law, the Constitution of New York State and the United States.
Got it. Thank you for that correction.
Same thing I don't mean to correct you.
No. No, I'm easily corrected, believe me. And Chief Tinty, same thing?
No. Chief Tinty, any chief, police chief,
reports
is
to
appointed by an administrator based on a test score in New York State.
Oh,
you have to be on a list.
Okay.
A common misconception, by the way, is that police chiefs can be fired. They can't be fired. They can be removed as chief.
Okay.
If I'm going to use Kingston as an example.
Okay. Yeah.
This is just an
this
example.
Is important, right? Because I don't think anybody. I never knew this.
If Mayor A dislikes Police Chief B, and he falls or she falls afoul of the mayor,
Right.
the mayor can say, you are no longer the chief.
Right.
And the chief can say, yeah.
Yeah, up yours.
Yeah, right, yeah. The chief goes back to their last civil service position and retains the pay of chief.
Holy cannoli. That's good.
So if you have principles and you wish to stand on those principles in opposition to power, there is a method by which to do that.
Right.
You know, those are personal choices.
Yeah. Interesting.
But you can't just be fired.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
From a public service job.
Right.
If you break unless you break the law or you do something that's a fireable offense.
Right.
Just because you're not the chief anymore doesn't mean that you're not. I mean, and the same thing for Joe Sinagra and Saugerties and Kyle Berardi in the town of Ulster. If they wish to stand up to the appointing authority,
right, the
they
town
can be removed.
supervisor.
They can be removed as chief, but they can't be removed from the police department.
Good point. Okay, I didn't know that. Thanks for the clarification. So the bottom line.
I'm a fountain of freaking nonsense
no, you are.
today. But.
No, you're a fountain of. So the bottom line on the police commission meeting was that. What was there a bottom line?
Good intentioned people without leadership.
Yeah.
Now.
Right. They don't know what they're doing.
You know, they want to. Here, I have a suggestion. Here's my first suggestion. They want to reimagine policing. I don't know what that even means. That's something they do at Disney. I think they reimagine stuff at Disney.
Right.
Want to reimagine policing? Why don't you reimagine crime first?
Yeah. Good point. That's a great point. Yeah. Let's figure out the bad guys go away, and then we can have police.
They entertained a complaint, which is their job, from someone who I won't name them, though they named themselves on the live. Mm-hmm. You know, they've been pulled over. They've been stopped by the police.
Right.
And the major complaint, both 2 weeks ago and this week, you're only stopping us because we're black and brown.
Oh, boy.
Guess what?
That's not true.
When I'm in my car, behind your car,
there's no way.
And I pull you over for your taillight being out,
right?
Or you went through a stop sign.
Right. You could be pink,
you
blue,
could be green, you could be yellow. I don't know if you're male or female or black or white or yellow or green.
Right. If you're if you're going,
if you're 5 feet tall or 50 feet tall, I don't know who you are.
And if your car's going 60 miles an hour in a 30-mile zone, you're going to get pulled over.
And at night, I can't see what you look like inside that car.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are till I walk up to the window.
Yeah.
That is why officers are fearful and and very cautious.
What you're doing.
There's a process for that.
Yeah.
How about, here's a suggestion to everybody who feels slighted in Midtown. Why don't you do what you're asked to do by the officer? And I bet that your interaction ends in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're a criminal.
Yeah, right.
If he says or she says, could you please show me your hands?
Yeah.
Could you just put your hands up so the officer feels safer?
Yeah.
You know, if he or she says, could I see some ID? I mean, you could always just show them your ID.
Yeah, right. That'd be a start. Good start.
I'm sorry. One more point
about
about drivers who are pulled over. In New York State, driving is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah.
It's a privilege. When you sign that motor vehicle to get your driver's license the first day, you sign a document that says, I agree to give this license to a police officer anytime I'm asked for it.
Yeah.
For identification.
It's the way it should be.
No questions asked.
Right.
I'm agreeing to do
process.
that for the privilege to drive.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
how about just do it?
But I thought Chief Tinty gave, there were, I'm going to say 700 interactions, and there was a whole breakdown of
race.
Of race. And it was right there. I mean,
white men were the ones arrested most. Yes,
number one, like 39. I remember the number, and so
considerably higher.
It was considerably higher. So yeah, I mean,
to females.
Yeah, considerably higher.
4 and 4. 4 black, 4 white.
Right.
I don't know. No Hispanics in there.
So God forbid we get confused by the facts.
Oh, don't you worry. A liberal will never, ever let facts get in the way of their narrative.
Right.
That is for the weak-minded facts. Are you kidding me?
So anyway,
and this idea that we're going to reimagine policing. By the way, I fully support keeping police work current with society, doing everything in the power of the police department and its members to do a righteous job,
right?
To do what the public wants done. But we're not hearing from the public at these meetings, Tony.
Right.
We're hearing from a very small group criminals.
Yeah.
Who don't want the police around. Guess what? Law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, they want
the police around.
In fact, we have a guest coming on the show at 8:30. Valerie Dwyer, correct? Is she coming on?
She is coming on, and she's bringing Reverend Malcolm.
Great.
From the Bruderhof.
Beautiful.
Well.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Reverend Malcolm's great. So
he is great.
and Valerie is part of the Concerned Citizens.
Kingston is
okay.
what the group is called.
Great.
Concerned. Now we've got at last count was over 2,300 members. Show of a better count in a city of 23,000. 10% have now come out and
pretty good.
and vocalized that they are supportive of.
And it happened quickly. Happened very quickly.
And I believe that. I bet you that number's doubled by now.
It could be.
She's collected hundreds of letters.
So we have some good news. The good news is that our KCR Fund Drive had a great day yesterday, according to Lawrence, right? Yes, sir. The Brian Cashman of KCR. And
go Jets. How about those Jets, huh?
How about those Jets?
At least you're not calling me Dave Gettleman.
No. So let's talk about, right.
You.
So we had a nice day yesterday, 1,100 almost, you said, that came in?
Yeah, we had $550 in donations, and then Kevin Cahill matched that $550 to make it $1,100.
Great.
Thank you,
Kevin.
Assemblyman Cahill. That's very kind of you.
Generous, and
So
we
now
appreciate
we
that.
need about $4,100.
Yep,
and
we're
it's
getting
over.
there. We're getting there,
Wait,
folks.
we only need 4,100 now?
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah, we got 78 something, right?
Scott, you got like $4,000 in your pants
$4
pocket.
bucks.
You got $4.
$4, okay.
Right. You're buying and selling, so we understand. So we have a goal of 12,000. We're getting there, folks. Please help us get there. If you have not donated, please consider making a donation. You can go on the website and hit the donate button. That's if you're down in FLA and you want to do that. Just go on my.
Are you playing in my cartel?
Yeah, I am, man. I am. I have to go. Yeah. Hey, you know the number one reason why people don't give? Because they're not asked.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Oh, feel you. Okay, that's a good song too. So 12 grand is our goal. You can send in a check to Kingston Community Radio, P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402, or you could go on mykcr.org, hit the donate button. Lawrence and I are hopefully either today or tomorrow going to finish up our GoFundMe page, which we're going to start. And
that's a good idea.
That's an easy way to do it.
Sure it is.
There's a charitable.
People do respond to that very
charitable
well.
section of GoFundMe, and you see some stories there that are terrible stories about people losing children and car accidents and all that huge medical bills. But this GoFundMe is for this great radio station that is the voice of the community, and it's the only format like this left live talk show that I know of up and down the Hudson River.
Where you let a loudmouth like me spout off about things that I agree with.
Right, exactly. And people can call in and disagree with Scott respectfully. I mean, absolutely. Because that's the only way we get better is have some civil discourse, and you can do that by calling 331-9255. At 7:30, we have Mo Gibbons, Al Teetsel coming in from the Kiwanis Kapers to talk about this year's version. I think it's virtual. What's live?
So tired of that word.
By the way, the Italians are doing. Yeah. We're doing.
I'm going to pay my taxes virtually this year. How about that, Governor Cuomo?
Yeah, virtual.
Virtual. Here's my virtual taxes.
So we're doing a little mini Italian festival where it's a drive-in style like Maria Todaro did, and it's going to be on October 11th. It is what it is. At least we're going to gather in person. We're going to give out two the Italian of the Year, male and female. That one is Dr. John Yoya, who's an amazingly generous guy and very hardworking orthopedic surgeon from Kingston, is the Italian of the Year, the Signor. And the Signora is Linda Sackerman. Linda used to work for Ulster Publishing and has been a long-time Kingstonian. And she's worked extremely hard for the organization, so male and female. So we're doing that live in person, and we're having live music.
Okay, good.
We're doing that.
So we can go. If we want to go down there, we can go. Yeah.
I'll talk more about it as we
put my body condom on, so walk around in my body condom.
So the deal is you're going to drive in and you can pull out a lawn chair, set it in front of the car, listen to the music, and we're going to watch My Cousin Vinny. We're going to watch a movie and have some food. Yeah,
that's my biological clock ticking.
Mrs.
And what is a ute?
Yeah, right. That is a classic.
Yep.
That is it, Mr. Gambini.
that was
Ed Gwynn. It was
from the Munsters.
From the Munsters.
The father from the Munsters.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, great.
So that's October 11th. 8 o'clock, I think Neil Smoller's calling in from Village Apothecary. He's supposed to. He's on the schedule. We'll see.
Busy man.
He's a busy bee.
He's got 3-4 kids. I don't know.
And then
twins?
Something like
or
that.
Triplets?
He might have
Are they triplets?
Trips.
Wow. Yeah. I can't even imagine that.
And then at 8:30, we have the aforementioned Valerie Dwyer and
Reverend Malcolm.
And Reverend Malcolm from the Bruderhof. So that's
and Reverend Malcolm and Valerie met for the first time Tuesday down at Gallup Park, where we were holding a pop-up to get signatures on letters that are being delivered to the mayor and the Common Council, asking for. Well, I'll save that. We'll save that for Val. Asking for support for the police department.
Okay, hang on to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's fine. No, I've just got to confirm from Neil, so he's going to be
okay. Good. Very disturbing in the Daily Freeman yesterday was the conference attended by the sheriff, all of our police chiefs locally, the district attorney, in opposition, thank God, in opposition to this trend of stalking police officers off duty and attacking.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Which is happening here in our
It's happening outside of this community, too. Someone that I know outside in another police force, I'll tell you off air who it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
This is unacceptable and civilized.
It's planned.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's planned and funded by George Soros.
Yeah.
And BLM and those far left organizations who don't care about democracy or what's best for America. They just care about themselves.
Correct.
And this is unacceptable. And it's a dangerous game. I mean, understand police officers are armed when they're on duty and when they're off duty.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know that we want to have that war.
Yeah, no, I don't think you do.
And I think that the people that came out yesterday, all correctly, even though some of them are not, they don't all agree philosophically. They all agree as human beings that this is the wrong thing to do, and I'll commend them all. Even the district attorney Dave Clegg, who came out and said, "No, we're not having this in our community." Thank you, District Attorney Clegg, for standing up and doing the right thing.
Yep, absolutely.
I'd like to see some of them take a stronger stand against the violence that we're experiencing here.
Right.
I had some politicians tell me, we can't sign your letter asking or supporting the police. Well, why not? Well, because we're politicians, and we can't.
Oh my God!
Really take a stand on that because we don't want to be judged by that. We don't want to be.
Why not?
We don't want to be identified as supporting the police,
yeah,
and that's a shame. That's a shame.
Then they should not run for office again. You have to make a decision.
Good caller.
Good morning, caller. You're on Thunder Thursday. What's your comment or question?
Good morning.
Hey, Big George.
My favorite man.
What's going on?
Hey, a big shout-out for yesterday should go out to Dr. Paul.
Dr. Paul Pagnozzi? I mean, Paul...
Paul Jankiewicz.
Yeah, Jankiewicz. Yeah.
Because
Tell us
he
why.
won the cow pie yesterday, and he donated it back to the first person who called in a pledge.
Oh, isn't that great?
Good for him. He's such a good guy. We got to have him on.
Yeah.
Kevin Cahill's assistant that was there said that they would match any pledges that came in between 8 and 9.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I took some more money out of Kevin's pocket too. So
Thank you, George.
Pass that up. But hey, I agree. What's going on now with these organizations going against our police officers is sickening.
Sickening is a good word for it, George. Thank you.
It is sickening. You harassing people who out there that's trying to protect you because of the few who don't like them, and yet we supporting these groups. And David Clegg took $240,000 from George Soros to get elected. He is buying DAs and everything else.
Yeah.
And
if that's where you want to live,
it's almost as bad as what Bloomberg is doing down in Florida with the felons.
Yeah, but Bloomberg's getting in trouble, I think, isn't he? So I thought there was some.
He's lost his mind. Apparently, he's lost his mind.
There's something that they're going after him for that I thought I read.
It's
something illegal.
Thing because he's buying votes, and you can't do that.
Yeah,
that is in with the stipulation of the thing that they all signed for that grant to give that at what, $16.1 million to pay off the debts of those 32,000 debtors, felons, and because they said that probably about 9% of them would vote for Biden. So that was
beautiful. That's the great way, great American way. We got DeBozo down in New York City, who even the liberals hate him. That's amazing.
Yeah, that guy, he won't be able to run for dog catcher, much less mayor.
Well, if he was a dog catcher, he'd screw it up. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, what's going on this election year is awful scary.
It depends on what society you want to live in. You want to live in a civilized society, or do you want to live in mayhem and chaos, where you have to guard what's yours?
Back
with
to
a
the
gun?
Wild West.
You want to
Back
do
to
that?
the Wild West.
I'll tell you who's going to win that battle.
Yeah.
And look at all the protests that cropped up yesterday because of that one decision down in Louisville, Kentucky.
That was tragic.
All planned. You can't tell me that.
Of course, they were ready the minute
by those groups.
All funded.
They knew that was coming out because they even show a van that was pre-set up, and they was pulling stuff out of the van for the protest.
And that was the process by which the Constitution set forth for deciding how we prosecute crimes. It was a grand jury. It wasn't a person. The district, the state attorney is a man who is a person of color, and he came out and said this was a fair process. We followed the evidence, and they filed charges against one of the officers.
Right.
They just didn't file murder charges.
Right.
And by the way, I don't.
Everybody aggravated. They did
the
not do what
police
they
were
wanted.
fired upon
What's
from inside
scary
her apartment.
Right.
Is when they talk about eliminating electoral college, stacking the courts, and everything else because
they can't win legislatively. They can't win elections.
It's been processed.
So they'll win by force. They can't win elections because their position is not popular, but they'll win by force.
Yep.
And if that's where you want to live,
on the break, so
God bless you.
Keep up the good work. I'll be listening. And
thanks,
hey, people,
George.
Let's get another
Thanks for your support
today. Have
All right,
a
buddy.
great day,
Thank you.
everybody.
God bless. Oh,
Tony.
Oh, jeepers.
You're vibrating, Tony. It's wondering how to get in, I bet.
Okay. Go to break.
We're going to take a short break and be right back.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Central Hudson reminds you that summer thunderstorms can strike with strong, gusty winds, knocking down trees and power lines. If you see a downed power line, call 911 immediately to report it. Power lines can carry an electric current strong enough to cause injury or death. Stay at least 30 feet away from a fallen line. Don't try to move it or anything that has come in contact with it. And never drive over a power line. Remember, your safety matters.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from Town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Changed, no. All right, we're back on, folks. Flash, ba-ba-ba-boom. All right, that was Scott. I'm Scott Herrington. Nah. So Scott is seeing a man about a horse, and so anyway, but we're joined by Miriam Gibbons from Mo Gibbons from Pure Clean, but also Kiwanis Kapers. We think Al Teetsel may be here soon.
Did you start without me?
What else is new?
Happens all the time in my life.
You had a nice introduction, believe it or
not. Great.
Yeah. Well,
what did he say about me, Mo?
Nothing bad. Yeah. No, I did your boom.
Oh.
I did Flash and I did that. That's what I did, sort of.
I'm really happy to see Miriam Gibbons here.
She's awesome.
We go way back.
We go
way back.
WEGO. We go
back to Brits. Who remembers? Raise your hand if you remember Brits.
Was that next to Flaws?
No, it was where Hannaford is.
Yeah. Actually, it's where OTB is now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, so that was. So I came to Kingston in 1980. So it was before then. I don't remember it.
No, it was there in 1980. That it was 1983 or 4 that we met.
Okay, so all right.
A security guard there.
Oh my gosh.
I was the
So you're undercover?
I was the manager buyer of the electronics department, and somebody
swiped something or other.
No, somebody got Scott to be our softball coach.
I was the coach of the Brits girls softball team. Probably one of the biggest accomplishments and most joyous time in my life.
It was fun.
Hilarious.
And did we have a good time?
We did.
I made some special friends there.
I bet you did. I coached my first wife's softball team in Poughkeepsie. Now, she was one of 7 sisters. And at one point, we had all 7 sisters on a team. We could
call the team that, 7 sisters.
Almost fill the whole team.
I like that would be a great team name. 7 sisters.
7 sisters
softball.
Yeah. That was, and we did well.
So that was fun. So we have a great history. Consider Mo a good friend, along with her husband John. We share the passion of fishing. And whenever I see John, that's all we talk about is fishing. But you're here today for Kiwanis Kapers, right?
I am.
And now we have Mr. Al Teetsel has joined us.
Al.
Just call me Al.
Just call me Al. You got
just
come
don't
to the
call
right
me
place.
Late for dinner.
Came to the right place. We relocated. I don't know how long ago, Lawrence. We've been here. 6 months.
7 years ago.
March 20th.
March 20th. So yeah, nice digs, huh? Much better than the other digs.
Oh yeah.
Here the bathroom has walls.
and we have air conditioning, and we have heat, and the roof doesn't leak.
The roof doesn't leak. We have carpet. The walls are painted.
Right.
We have beautiful artwork. Right. We have wonderful guests. We're like pros.
We do.
Radio pros.
We've been doing this for a while.
So the pandemic has touched every facet of life in every way possible that we can think of, including the Kiwanis Kapers.
Yes.
So what's happening?
Well,
please don't say virtual.
So basically, we
imaginary.
So basically, I mean, the Kapers have always been held at one of the schools, and because of the pandemic, we couldn't have it at Bailey, and we were going to be able to have it at the high school this year. Unfortunately, with the schools being closed, there's no way that they were going to allow us to do 7 days worth of rehearsals. And you have to remember that we'd start rehearsals on a Sunday. Rehearsals go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is dress rehearsal, and the show is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we kept saying, this is going to end. This is going to end. We don't want to have a virtual. We don't want to have a virtual. And the deadline kept coming closer and closer and closer. And somebody came up with the idea that we are going to take the best of Kapers. All right. So we've been doing this for, Al, how many years?
This will be our 77th year if we were to have
77th year.
Wow. That's fantastic.
So what we did was the director, Steve Klein, decided to actually make a best of, and do pick the best shows, and nobody knows what's going to be in it, including the Kiwanians right now.
So are you reenact them, or are you replaying them?
We're taking 3 shows.
And what they're going to do is they're going to pick the best scenes and the best acts, and they're creating a movie.
Oh, they're doing a little video.
So we're doing a video, and
great. That's a good
so
idea.
It's going to be at Tech City. So social distancing.
That's
everybody's
great.
in
So
their
when is that
cars.
gonna be?
That's going to be October 24th.
No, 23rd.
23rd and 24th.
At 7:30.
Okay, great.
7:30.
I was just mentioning the Italian festival is going to be October 11th there. We're doing my cousin Vinny and handing out a couple of awards and having some music.
Well,
it's
a
guy with a squeeze box.
I love it.
Well, it's
actually
the cost is $10 per person to $25 for a car, like
Nice.
3 or more. Okay.
Okay, good.
My first Kapers was in 1972.
Wow.
And I was sitting in the we started rehearsals at that point on a Sunday night. And then the following week, we'd have the rehearsals as she had just discussed. Right. And I'm sitting there with Dave Huffman, and it's my first experience. And I'm saying, how the heck is this going to get off the ground? Everybody doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And it
just put together.
The following week, everything comes together. But it also builds something within Kiwanis. It builds friendship.
Yeah.
You're sitting there to wait for your particular scene, and
you get to know the person.
You get to know the other person. Okay. One of my greatest experiences was John Dwyer and Richie Matthews. He played Mae West, and I don't know what the heck John Dwyer was playing, but I was
pretty funny. Huh?
I was Harpo Marx.
Yeah.
And I don't speak.
Yeah, okay? yeah.
And I'm got the script, and I'm reading the lines, and John says, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah,
I said,
"You're not supposed to be
You
speaking."
two dummies are talking. I'm waiting for the cue to get you guys and me out on the stage. We all had a good laugh. But those are some of the things that you in the audience don't see. It's behind the scenes.
Okay? Yeah.
Even waiting for your scene in a rehearsal room, and you're talking to your fellow Kiwanis and getting to know them.
Talk about, before you talk about the Kapers, we'll talk about a little bit more. Talk about Kiwanis and what it is, and
as an organization.
As an organization, we're big on service clubs here, as you can see. Lions.
We say don't carry a sign and march down Broadway.
Right.
Join a service organization and actually make a difference.
So one of the reasons I've been a Kiwani, and I'm going on my 12th year.
Great.
And I joined Kiwanis, believe it or not, in I'm going to date myself, 77, I actually received a scholarship. Just a little bit.
You received the Kiwanis scholarship.
I received
nice.
the Kiwanis scholarship. And back in 1977, they gave out 3 scholarships. Today, we give out approximately 20 scholarships to graduating seniors from the local high schools. Unfortunately, Coleman is no longer here, so they won't be. So it goes to Kingston High School seniors. And we've been doing this forever, as far as I know.
When I first joined, and 2 years after.
7 years?
Right. Abraham Lincoln was in office. No, go ahead.
That's true. I got a call from Cliff Haynes from Kingston Savings Bank at the time. Would you like to be the secretary-treasurer? Because our secretary-treasurer had passed away. I said, I just started my banking career. Let me call you back. So I became treasurer for the next 40 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
in those 40 years, and when I retired in 2013 and Mo took over, I did a recap of all the money we gave out in other forms. And when I first became a Kiwanian, it was $250,000.
$250,000?
No.
$250
scholarship.
Oh.
Back 40 years ago. Almost 50 years ago now. And sooner or later, we raised it to $1,000. So I did a recap of all different activity accounts. Over those years, it was like $1.6 million.
Back to the community.
Giving
back to the community.
And helping young students.
Yes. So one of the reasons that I personally joined Kiwanis was that
right.
I got a scholarship. My daughter, when she graduated from the high school, she got a scholarship, and she was my baby. And I said, now it's time to give back. She got a scholarship. I got an application. Yep. And one of the reasons that I joined this particular organization is that the money stayed locally. And not only did it stay locally, but you actually have a voice as to where the money is spent. Yeah. So it's not just you're joining a club, you're raising money, and somebody else. the board is deciding where it goes. There are different groups in the organization, and they decide. They're each given a budget, and they decide where the money goes. But it all stays local in this community. And to me, that's really important to see. You've worked hard, you've taken the time, you've given back, you've raised this money, and now you have a decision as to where it goes.
What's the main focus for Kiwanis? Is not just scholarships, right?
No,
you do
so basically
children.
Children.
Okay.
So it's changing a community one child at a time.
Okay.
What a wonderful
That's your slogan.
mission
That's great.
statement.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really nice to watch and to see. Scholarships is one of our biggest programs that we have, but we have youth services, we do community services. We used to have, unfortunately, a senior dinner for all the seniors that we partner with
Was that
the
a
Ulster Club.
Victim of the pandemic or just?
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
I think
so
it's going to be.
It's going to be.
Okay.
We had to move to the Old Dutch Church assembly room last year for the first time, and I took pictures of it only because arranging the tables as if we're going to have it this year, and I'm assuming we're not because everybody's going to be close together. There's no way to give that.
Yeah,
social
you're going to have a
distancing.
problem with it for sure.
So it's unfortunate. So, everybody's trying to think outside the box when it comes to raising funds.
And to survive and
Right.
be able to do this
Absolutely.
again.
Absolutely.
And again.
All service organizations are having this dilemma. Is the
When you do the
best way to
Kiwanis
put it.
Capers, the Kiwanis Classic.
We plan, hopefully, we are.
That's been around for a million years, too.
Yes. So
2021 in April 23rd, I think it is. It's in
yes,
April.
we're planning on doing it again.
You've been doing that forever, right?
What's the length of that race?
5K?
There's a
5K?
There's a 5K. There's a 10K.
So it's 39 years.
Yeah, but we
so you know.
we yes, but we haven't had
April
it. For,
25th, 2021. Would you like me to join Kiwanis?
Sure, absolutely.
Governor. You wanna be a district governor? Yeah.
You would be fabulous.
Rotary already has it.
You will be a changed person, my friend.
And legs.
She'll cut your arms off.
Yeah, she will.
So we're
yeah,
planning.
so
We're planning
good.
on doing
Good
the
for
race.
you.
Obviously, we don't know. I have seen virtual
Well, you should
races.
be able to do that.
I have seen.
It's the only race I can win.
Yeah.
Well, no,
in
you
his,
still
in his
have-
mind.
in a virtual
his
race,
mind.
you still have to run.
Oh, forget it then. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. And then a golf tournament, you run that too?
Well,
Have a
our golf tournament when
has been kiboshed this year.
This year because the courses weren't open yet.
By the time you could
And
do
by
it.
the
yeah.
time
So
we
you'll-
could do it, and the events started happening, they were all booked up. People had moved. They kept moving dates, and unfortunately, there wasn't enough time.
Right.
So so we lost that event.
So your president, Genevieve Buckman.
She will become
Right? Oh, she's
president
incoming?
October 1st.
October 1st.
Okay.
So-
And then let's see what else you have here. Kevin Gage is another one of your folks.
Yes, he
He's
is.
past president.
Michael Janishevitz.
He's on the board and will be moving into the chairs, so he will
Okay.
be coming up.
Steve
Mazzei is
Mazzei?
the current president and will be passing his torch over to Genevieve.
Okay. Lauren Morris is involved. She's our membership chair of the Italian organization too.
Yep, we have 90 members strong.
Okay, that's great.
And we're always looking for new members. We're always looking for people that want to get involved.
How do people contact?
Want to improve their community.
So, yep. So basically, to join to contact anybody, you can go to our anybody, but you can go to our website www.Kiwanis
KingstonKiwanis.org.
Yeah, KingstonKiwanis.org. Yep. We actually have other sites as well. There's one for Kapers, which is where you can go on to buy tickets for this upcoming event, which is www.KiwanisCapers.com.
With a K?
With a K.
Capers with a K.
With two Ks.
Yeah.
We're always looking for good people.
And that's a big part of your fundraising, the Capers. It's important that the community continue to support. It's super it's hard for people to imagine how popular it is.
So I can tell you, Kapers is probably our, as far as events, it's one of the hardest ones indirectly. Like Al said, we start, when we were doing it live, we would start.
Right?
The first night, all you do is get yelled at because nobody read their lines. They've had their scripts for 2 months. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They didn't remember their song. They forget their lines, so on and so forth. And, Sunday you go, this is never going to happen by Thursday. And on Monday you go, yeah, this still isn't going to happen. And on Tuesday, you go, okay, we're a little better, but wow. And I always tell everybody, if you come to Kapers and you came to every single night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you would see the same show with different antics. Yep. The thing is that the audience doesn't know what's part of the show and what's us messing up. We are not professionals. We are not professional singers.
But we have one cardinal rule in Kiwanis. If you want to tell a joke, you got to pass it by the director. You may think it's funny, but the audience
or potentially offensive. You got to be careful these days. Everybody is so super sensitive about everything.
There was one Kapers. I was in a MASH scene. Dr. Gruner was Hawkeye. I was Hot Lips. Okay,
that's going to keep me up at night.
That's a nightmare, really.
That's going to leave a mark.
I can't unsee that.
That's going to leave a mark.
The best person on dress rehearsal night, it broke everybody up in the audience. Meaning fellow Kiwanians, was Jimmy Gilpatrick. He played Radar.
Perfect.
He came in with a
Digger
skull cap, the teddy bear, and the glasses.
Rest his
We
soul.
all cracked up. Then somebody got wise to, well, we need to have blood. So someone went out and bought a steak on Thursday night.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, it gets worse. I went out to the hobby store.
How about ketchup? It would be better for ketchup.
I went out to the hobby store and got a skill saw. So you just pull it, and it sounds like a saw, okay?
Yeah.
There went the meat. The problem was nobody put that in the refrigerator for 3 nights.
Oh, it stunk. Probably stunk.
I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
When they came to the scene where I had to touch it, I said, somebody else going to do that. I ain't doing that. And I got a few laughs. But again, it builds a relationship with members that you don't always see, because some people can make the luncheon meeting, some can't, and they'll make it up the following week. When I joined Kiwanis, it was 136 members in 1972.
Yeah, every service organization is going to do the same thing.
And the corporations nowadays, they want you involved, but they still pull you back to some extent. But the members do find a way of getting involved at their own.
Well, and the trick is to try to get younger folks involved, which, Rotary has the same problem. I'm sure Lions has the same problem.
They're busy marching around with signs doing nothing, accomplishing nothing.
Exactly.
Join a service organization. Volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club.
Help children.
Join the Y.
Yep.
Go do something good.
People constantly reach out.
You want Kingston to rise up?
Yep.
Join the Kiwanis Club.
Absolutely.
Join the Rotary.
By the way,
volunteer.
If you want to see disaster and problems, go to a developing
City
nation.
Hall.
No, go to
Sorry.
developing nation like Haiti. Go to Haiti.
Oh, yeah.
If you think
You
it's
wanna
bad
see real
here,
problems?
Yeah. You want to see sewage in the
around?
street. You want to see people walking
By the way,
literally
that's
a
how
mile.
it's going to look here in another 10 years if we keep going this way. We're going to look just like Venezuela.
Plastic burning in the streets.
So
that's what's going on.
Kiwanis has different tiers, believe it or not. So we do try to get the youth involved. There is, for the grade school level, there was the Builders Club. For the, that was, I think, sort of goes into junior high. The high school has Key Club.
Circle K is a gas station down south.
Circle K is actually the college level.
Oh, okay.
And we last year just opened a Circle K
that's good.
in Ulster County.
That's a big deal.
At SUNY Ulster.
And Bill Spearman really worked his heart out.
Yeah.
To pull that together.
That's
in this
great.
economy for the last couple of years. Finally got it going.
So we actually do have, as far as an organization, they can start young and build their way up. When they do in high school, we hope that they do become, whether they join a Circle K in college, if the college actually has one, and some actually have. And then we're hoping if they do come back to our community that they will join us.
One of the things that I'm involved with at the district level is Lyme disease. We have funds where we help out people who have the Lyme disease to a point where they're in a hospital and their medical bills are out of sight.
Big problem in our area, too, because we're rural.
Right. And this past February up in Binghamton at our midwinter conference, we gave out 4 $50,000 awards to parents. And I'm kind of like the focus point here, and I'm trying to get into the school system, but everything in life is timing, and what I'm meaning in timing with the virus, it's hard to get and to meet people. The school population in Ulster County is right around 22,000, and I thought if I could get with the superintendents, they have a meeting once a month I'd like to get to that meeting, then I get to the nurses to put the information out that if the school nurse finds a young person with the Lyme disease and having financial issues, all they have to do is contact us. We review it, and a certain amount will be awarded to them.
Yeah, that's great.
Great program, particularly in this community.
Yes.
Talk about the Kapers again. When is it? How do you get involved?
Okay,
How can you buy a ticket?
So basically, you have to go online. You can buy tickets at the door. So the date is October 23rd and 24th.
Out of Tech City in the new...
Yep, Tech City, 7:30.
No, not inside, though.
No, it's outside.
Drive-in.
It's a drive-in.
Building.
Yep.
One of my buildings I used
It's
to work
sort
in.
of like going to the drive-in movie, so you can bring your snacks and bring a car load of people. And please, please support us. We're hoping to get at least 90 cars a night. So that'll be 180 cars. And if you've never seen the Kapers, you're going to see some of the best scenes from different
And
Kapers.
they're pretty hilarious.
And-
I mean,
and-
really,
They are pretty funny.
We have to correct this. It is at Kingston Kiwanis, KiwanisCapers.org.
No, .com. It is not .org.
I thought it said org.
No, our website is our
So
website
it's
is
Now I'm confused, too.
Okay, so it's
Go on the Google.
I'm doing it right now. What is it?
It's KingstonKiwanis.com.
KingstonKiwanis.com. That's Kingston.
No, wait. Now you guys are making me crazy. Okay.
Oh, no, we're not. You started crazy, by the way.
Our website for the club is KingstonKiwanis.org.
Yeah.
To get the Kapers tickets, it's KingstonKapers.com.
Let's just remember that one.
KingstonKapers.com.
That's Kingston with a K, Kapers with a K, .com.
Correct.
Come out to what used to be known as Tech City. I don't know. It's not.
And if
Tech
you go
City,
on,
but-
if you go on Facebook, we do have a Facebook page, and you can. There's a link to it.
It's easier to go on
which is-
Facebook.
So if you go on Facebook and pull up the Kapers page, the Kiwanis Kapers, there will be a link that you just simply click on and buy your tickets there.
Right, that's the easiest way to do it.
I suggest everybody get their tickets ahead of time, because the Kiwanians, like I said, I have no idea what's going to be in there. So I don't know if I'm going to be up on that golden screen or not.
You will.
Was it the last few shows?
That's a guarantee.
No, so basically, Steve,
The last few was-
it's not just the last few shows.
the
Steve
best.
Klein,
Oh,
it's the best of.
Okay.
So, like I said,
Steve is
nobody.
one of the gurus, right, behind this thing?
Steve has been a director for many, many years.
Right. Who was before him? What's his name? I
Well,
can see
it
his
wasn't
face.
before. You're thinking of Tom Tierney.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so we've had several directors.
Right.
Dave Howells actually directed a show.
Right. Matt Thompson.
Dim Thompson, way back when, before my time.
Wow, yeah.
But,
I remember
but Steve Klein is basically doing all his shows. We have to be careful, because his shows, basically, he wrote
Yeah.
all the songs, so you don't have to worry about
Right. Royalties.
and
all that
things
stuff.
of that nature. So
Right.
we're trying to keep it as easy and follow all the rules.
And the best
things of
part
that
is
nature.
somebody will be offended. That's the best part.
Well, we don't pick.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
I mean, there's
Like
things.
super
there's-
sensitivity days.
No,
I
it's
mean, you
funny.
can't- Yeah.
If you actually asked, if
Please
I
only
have
go
to
if
remember,
you have a real sense of humor.
yeah. Well, no. Well, there's
Laugh at yourself,
two scenes that I would love to see in the show.
You in the
that's
bathing
coming
suit?
up. No, no, that would not be one of them, Al.
That was funny.
I'm going to say Joe Fay did a show. I'm not going to tell you which show in case it is in there. You got to
Yeah.
come see it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
He was.
I think I saw that one.
Steve typecasts a lot of us in certain roles.
Right.
And you don't realize it until you go, wait, I'm who?
That's me.
And then you go, okay, that's me.
That's how people see me? Oh, my God.
But Joe Fay took this part to a new level.
Yeah.
And the show was great. Everybody loved it. It was fantastic. He stole the show.
Yeah.
Stole the show. Love him to death.
Boys and Girls Club for decades. Again, you want to make a difference in your community?
Right.
Put your stupid sign down,
Yep.
get a job, and join a service organization.
Right, exactly.
Those are the things you can do to make your community better.
Absolutely.
Right.
Give back.
One side note, way back when, we used to have the Clyde Beatty Circus. And, of course, being treasurer, I'd always have to settle up the tickets. So being a clown, as Ronnie rounded out the clown, I said, could I be a clown? Oh, sure. So I got all dressed up, my makeup. I'll go in the tent, and all the clowns look at me, and I look at everybody else.
Like, who's this
guy? Who's got the best? Who's that? So where do they put me? On an elephant. Oh. You cannot fall off an elephant. With their ears hold your legs in place. And all of a sudden it says, yelled at me, duck. I missed the pipe.
Duck, no, elephant.
No, I want chicken. I want chicken.
And then you pass around all 3 rings, then you get off, and the elephant gets down, and it goes down on his knee, and you're okay.
Right.
The best part of that whole episode was getting down and meeting the kids come up to all the clowns. So the only thing I did was get on my knees because I like to be at the same level with the kids, so they don't.
Sure.
I don't want to intimidate them or scare them, and that was my biggest thrill.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Riding in on an elephant.
Yeah,
you don't
that's
do
cool.
that. I'll tell you, the hairs are like pins.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. So Miriam Gibbons, Al Teetsel from Kiwanis, Kingston Kiwanis.
Kingston Kapers.
KingstonCapers.com. October 23rd, October 24th. Starts at 7:30. That's not a.m., it's p.m., I'm sure. Tech City.
Bring your snacks.
It'll almost be dark by then. Well, it will be dark.
It will be dark.
It will be definitely dark by then.
It's like going to the movies in your car. It's like a driving movie.
It's a drive-in movie.
By 7:30, yeah.
That's fun. That'd be fun. That can be fun.
Again, it's
go out to dinner first.
$10 a person, $25 for a carload of 3.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
So, we're trying to...
You'll be safe.
Yeah,
you'll be safe. You're in your car.
You're in your car. So you're with your people that you have been around. And that's it. We want to keep it safe. We want it to be a nice event. And again, like I said, buy your tickets ahead of time. It will make life so much easier.
Buy early, buy often.
Yes, please.
Great. Well, thank you both.
Tell your friends. Share.
One of these years, we're going to bring back the All Services luncheon.
Yes.
Al and I have been working on that. We're going to get we'll get the Lions. We need the Lions. Lawrence, we'll get Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions. We used to do that once upon a time.
Yes.
So we're going to bring that back.
Join a service organization. Make a difference in your community.
As soon as we get rid of the spam-demic or whatever we got.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Al. It's really nice to see you.
All right. Great job, you two.
Family. And come on back in a minute, and we'll be back with Neil Smoller.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Central Hudson reminds you, when you're doing yard work, safety matters. If you use a ladder, be aware of overhead electric lines, including the service wire that runs to your house. Even wooden ladders can conduct electricity with dangerous results. And be very careful if there are electric lines above or near a swimming pool, and you're working with skimmers, brooms, or other long-handled tools. Central Hudson wishes you a safe summer.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
All right, we're on.
Oh, you're on.
Boom!
Oh, you're on.
Flash!
Ba-ba-ba-boom!
Thunder Thursday, folks. We're on, let's see, if you're listening right now, you're probably listening to 92.5 FM or 920 AM or...
Nobody's listening on AM.
Nobody's listening on AM.
92.5 FM or live on...
Or YouTube.
Yeah, mykcr.org.
Right.
mykcr.org.
Click on the YouTube link.
Goes us over to the YouTube.
You can see us.
You can go to the Google and look it up.
Yep, you could. All right, so we have to do birthdays. We have a birthday.
We have two birthdays. They happen to be...
Okay. Don't tell.
We won't tell.
Okay, you read yours first.
Thursday, September 24th.
Oh, wait. I'm going to read mine first. Thursday, September 24th. No, wait. September 24th. Please wish a happy birthday to Janet Mellon from your friends at the Town of Ulster Senior Club. Your turn.
Thursday, September 24th. Please wish a happy birthday to, you guessed it, Janet Mellon from your friends at Wellness and Healthy Lifestyle Club.
All right,
Janet's a popular girl.
She is. And the wiener of the delicious...
Guess who the winner is?
Of the delicious cow pie from Boyce Dairy Milk House. That would be Janet Mellon.
Big thanks to Boyce's Dairy Milk House, though, for providing that 365 days a year.
Correct.
To keep. And by the way, there's 100,000 people in this community. If you do the math, how many birthdays is that a day? Yeah. Send your stuff in. It's free. My God, it's free. You win a cow pie.
How can they send it in, Lawrence? How can they send a birthday notice?
They can send it into the internet or email, kcr921@gmail.com, or you can mail them in to P.O. Box 4364, Kingston.
Right.
12402.
Announce
take the 2 minutes it takes to go online and enter yourself in the thing.
You can write it on a
free cow pie.
Piece of toilet paper.
Okay.
However it gets here, as long as it's legible.
What is the email one more time, please?
kcr921@gmail.com.
There you go. Okay, and we have our...
We got to get our guest on here.
We got to get our guest
Dr.
on.
Neil.
Yep.
Good morning, Dr. Neil Smoller.
Oh, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. We can.
The world can hear you, my friend. The world can hear you.
World Wide Web.
You guys are just learning about the internet for the first time.
We just did, and Al Gore invented it, I think. So.
We all know a Democrat invented the internet.
Oh, stop it. All right. Neil, how are you?
Smoller, Village Apothecary, where aging hippies get their drugs. My very favorite tagline ever. A guest on this show some months ago, and became a sponsor.
Underwriter.
Became an underwriter, which we very much appreciate.
Thank you so much.
You're a good guy. You got a great business up there. Is it twins or triplets?
Triplets.
Unbelievable, bro.
How they doing?
How's your family?
Yeah.
They're okay. I mean, like, the kids are fine. They miss their friends. They want to go back to school, but I've convinced them that going back to school is not going back to normal. And because we have the ability to, we're going to keep them home for as long as possible. I kind of the analogy that I'm now using, I stole from somebody from a food clinic yesterday. They said they're going to sit the vaccine out like they would a new restaurant. They're just going to wait, see what everybody else says about it, right?
Yeah. See if anybody gets poisoned.
That's
right?
what we're going to do with school. Is we're gonna wait it out, see what happens a month, 2 months into it, make sure that everything's nice and stable.
Nobody's
and
croaking.
Then we'll bring the kids back, because I don't want my kids to be one of those statistics, and we don't have to. And it also helps take the pressure off the teachers and everybody else, because there's 4 less children in the school district. So
what's the gender of all 3?
So 2 girls and a boy in the triplets, and then a girl, 7-year-old, because we don't know how birth control works.
We're going to have to talk privately off the air.
Have you figured that out yet?
Yeah, we have 2 doctorates in pharmacy, and we have no idea.
Right. Okay, there you go. God
2
bless.
syllables, condom.
Yeah.
But hey, tell Tony that we love him too, by the way, from the St. Augustine cartel. And Bad Andy says a Democrat did invent the internet, and then he gave it away for free. Attaboy, Bad Andy.
Oh, man. Gotta love it. The
Dr.
cartel.
Smoller, what is the new normal going to be? You just, I mean, we speak of it in jest sometimes, but I'm so tired of virtual everything. I want my life back. I want kids back in school. I want people back at work. When is that going to happen, and what is the new normal going to be?
So I actually have some sage advice from Aaron's grandmother, who I never met, but I get to hear the stories about her. She would say, well, wish in one hand and poop in another, and see which one fills up first.
Wish in one hand, poop in the other, see which one fills up first.
Exactly.
I love her. I love her.
How old are you, Scott? When is your birthday? You're going to get the free cow pie.
Yeah.
You got to grow up, bro. And everybody that's got this attitude, like, I'm tired, I'm sorry, but the virus doesn't give a crap. I'm sorry, I'm a swear.
Yeah, don't be swearing.
Say that on
you said poop the first time, and
poop is good.
Poop is good.
It doesn't give a crap about what you want, and that's unfortunate. And the thing that makes the virus dangerous is that it's way more patient than we are. That's what the respect about the virus comes, is that it's not a respiratory virus. It's actually like a cardiovascular virus that causes strokes and heart attacks and organ damage. And it's something that can take its time. It'll spread over 2 to 4 weeks. And so it's much slower than us.
So wait a minute.
The new normal that we have to get used to is
Neil. Let me just stop you for a second, because I think where Scott was going with this is, you know, if we're sitting here next year at this time in 21 on, what is today, September 24th? I have no idea what today's date is. But
23rd.
What does the world look like if you put your glasses on?
Here's what I say. There are 3 new normals. There's the current new normal that we're used to right now, which is everything that everybody's already frustrated about. The next new normal will come when we get a vaccine, but it's going to be different than what people think. People think it's going to be at a goalpost, and then we're going to be able to go back to normal. And the vaccine is just going to provide some protection to some people, and we're still going to have to continue to wear masks. So
why is the vaccine different for this than the flu?
Like the H1N1, which happened 2009.
To normal?
So the difference is H1N1 didn't kill as much and didn't go as long.
Right.
H1N1 was serious, but really it congregated in the young and in the old, but it wasn't as like infectious. So and then when the vaccine came, we were able to kind of like go about our lives, because we were pretty much going about our lives anyway, right? So this virus is different, so the vaccine is going to be different, and the vaccine is going to be not 100% effective, you know?
Right. Like most vaccines, right? No, there's no vaccine that's exact. Maybe the smallpox 100,000
I
years
believe
ago.
that the shingles vaccine gets close. It has a risk reduction of near 90%, which is pretty incredible.
Shingles,
yeah. But so then I believe that the true real normal, new normal that you're talking about can come, and it can come at any time, and it'll come under 2 circumstances. Some sort of technological breakthrough is the overall theme, in either treatment or in
prevention.
Not even in prevention. If we can test, if we had the ability to do a non-invasive instant test that we found out in 30 minutes what your status was, That's a game changer. We could literally do that every day for a week if everybody was compliant.
Because then you could self-isolate or do what you need to do.
And then we would know exactly where everybody stood, everybody who, and then those people would be forced to stay home, and then we can go about life. But then those tests would still be available. So at my business, I could say, you can't come in here without a mask unless you pass the test.
Right.
So do this test, and then you can come in, right, or put a mask on. So we would know right then and there where everybody is. So I you'll get back to normal if you have some sort of technological breakthrough. And I understand that everybody's tired. Listen, depression in this country is triple what it was. My psychotherapist friends are making bank. They're going to be able to retire after this is all done.
And the economy...
Except the rest of us are going to be broke because they've destroyed the economy.
Yeah, it's in the crapper.
And
the economy.
To be fair, I understand that, but again, like if we all go back to work and we have millions of people infected with this, like tens of millions of people infected with this, which is what the models predict, the economy is going to break too. So yeah, people are broke, and
either way,
there needs to be solutions.
So you're saying it's death by hanging or death by drowning?
We're in a bubble. That's the thing that I always say about this. Is like the United States is faring worse than any other country. Every other country has fewer cases, fewer deaths. South Korea, relatively same population as the area that was affected the most in our country, and 377 deaths. Instant mask wearing, they did what they need. All of their citizens are cared for. All of these countries that are reinvesting in the citizens and giving money so people can survive, delaying evictions, all of these things are what needs to happen, but we're dragging our feet about nonsense. And so your fatigue is amplified by, the things that stink about this whole thing, and they could all be solved, but we are actively choosing not to solve them. And that's the problem. So we shouldn't be mad at each other or be mad at people that are like,
I don't think we're mad at each other, but
mad at our people that are making the decisions. That's what we should be mad at.
I have the utmost respect for your opinion, because you're the smartest guy I know. But there are people.
Hey, I thought you told me that.
No, I said you're the handsomest guy I know. But there are people in positions of power, and there are people in the medical field who have a different opinion than you about what you've just discussed. I'm not in a position to say you're right and they're wrong, or they're right and you're wrong. And that's one of the bigger challenges. We as American citizens want our country to prosper. We want our children to be able to do better than we did, and we want to know what's going on. And we're not getting consistent information. You can say that you're right, and I believe you believe you're right. And I also believe...
Plus, he's on the radio, and he's an underwriter.
I know. So we're going to have the utmost respect for his opinion.
The problem with your
I ask him for stuff all the time, but there are many opinions.
And there isn't some sort of scheme behind it all. And that it's a dangerous sentiment to say that just because somebody else has an... So it's not... I'm not in a bubble saying this. This is based on all of the majority of the information that is pointing towards this information. This is why we have experts. But if somebody can get on a talk radio or a TV show...
You're on talk radio,
and
bro.
go on and on and on and on about horrible things. So like when somebody hears me talk, they would hopefully be hearing me as a local trusted healthcare professional that wouldn't steer them wrong, right?
Right.
Right? So we have to make our world smaller, right? And this is how we survive. Because right now what you do is you go onto the World Wide Web or you watch some national TV show and you take the word of those people that are talking with agendas and all that other nonsense as if they're me, the local person that you can punch in the face if I were wrong, right? And so, and so, like, there is a very wrong assumption that just because somebody offers a differing opinion, that is of equal merit. And yes, people.
The problem
need
is we
to
don't
be
know.
able to, people need to be able to sort through that. But here's the most controversial thing I'll say is that I don't believe that most lay people have the skill set to sort through the information, and because
I agree.
Well, they're not going to look at the data.
They're
not going to look at the data.
It's very easy for them to get overwhelmed.
We're going to ask somebody smart like you.
You would ask an expert, and I would hopefully lead you in the right direction. If I was wrong, then that feedback loop would be like, we're not going to ask Neil anymore.
But
right?
people know different.
If we put our blind faith into
people know
media
different experts.
Yeah.
Lots of people know different experts. and different experts give different information. As I said,
that's not true.
I'm not saying that you're wrong.
True. So that's not true. There are plenty.
It is
of
true.
Giving
They do it all the time.
Information, but they are not respected experts. So it's like if we have a group of people, 10 people in a room, and there's 10 doctors, and one of the doctors starts firing off about how vaccines cause autism. Do you think those 9 doctors are going to respect or allow that person to speak? And they're not going to.
And yet it happens all the time.
And so we have that. We have people being critical. This is what I do all day. Is I'm critical of these opinion thought leaders about supplements and wellness. And I'm telling you that they're mostly wrong. But guess what? They can market effectively, and that sounds good to lay people, and that's not enough. That's not enough.
Well, so, I don't disagree with you. It's just very confusing to the lay person who hears different opinions.
That has to be said.
I'm going to interrupt because you're both talking at once.
Yeah, the undercurrent that goes along with this is that there are people in power that want distrust in institutions. There are people that
we watch
want
the march
not
every day.
to trust institutions, which you just talked about democracy and prosperity and all of this other stuff. And there are people that are actively trying to sabotage that by telling you that 2 people on a talk show, one crazy person and one trusted scientist, those opinions are equal, that it's okay to have those equal opinions. No, that guy is a lunatic and we shouldn't trust him, but he's given equal airtime. And for people that, again, don't have the skill set, that could seem equivalent, but to professionals, it's not. We look at it and go, there's a problem here. You know?
So let me get back to my earlier question. We're sitting here in September 24th, 2021. What do you, in your crystal ball mind, what do you see the world looking like in 1 year from now?
Well, there's a horrible election that's going on that is really putting us on the edge of everything. But besides that, we have, from a medical perspective, this country has failed utterly. And until we get our act together, this is going to continue. We'll be wearing masks for 2 years. That's just period.
That's what you're thinking. Okay.
Period of end of sentences.
Yeah.
I think that bars and restaurants are super spreading events, especially in areas that aren't taking the
endangered species.
So now here's a glimmer of hope. The gyms have opened back up in New York, right? Where the cases are low and where we're controlling this like every other European nation or every other responsible nation, right? So the gyms have opened up and the cases haven't amplified. So that's a really, really good sign, right? That's a really, really good sign. So the problem with bars and restaurants is that people are taking their masks off indoors with the ventilation, right? So that's still going to be a problem as we go into winter. And that is what's going to really tell us what this will look like over the next year. So the next 3 months, I believe, are critical. How it compares in New York versus, let's say, Virginia or something like that.
Well, New York's been doing really good.
New York is doing fantastic. We're doing everything that's supposed to happen, despite the fact we have a number of citizens that still believe that this is either a hoax or whatever. We still have those indignant people that don't want to do it. But if you walk around Woodstock, for example, where we get a mix of lots of different types of people every single weekend, everybody's got a mask on except for like the 6 idiots that are protesting masks and the freedom associated with wearing your masks, right? So we have like thousands of people walking our streets, and everybody's doing really, really well, And so as long as we can continue that, as long as we can take this serious, as long as we can listen to experts, and listen, so the points that Scott brings up are important, and it tells me a lot about a common shared experience. Like a lot of people, they don't know what to do. It's like hands in the air. I don't know who to believe. And the truth of the matter is I think you need to disconnect. I think the people that end up in that position tend to be people, I'm not saying this about Scott, but I'm just saying people that are like, I don't know. It seems
I think you just called me dumb, but that's okay. I am.
I did not. I believe that I could make an assumption about how long a day you engage with certain types of media, like whether it's TV or newspaper or something like that.
I work. I don't engage with media. I try to do the right thing. I have to engage with people because I work. I wear my mask. I go out. If I read an article or I see something, my wife is vigilant about making sure we wash our hands. We wear our masks. We're not going out to dinner. We're picking up to-go food. We're all trying to do the right thing, but we're getting information from different, and I'm sorry, they're all experts because they claim to be experts. I know you're an expert. I know your history. I believe you. I believe you believe you're telling me the right thing. But there are people who will say something different who also believe that they're saying the right thing, and you are exactly correct. For a guy like me, uneducated, just want to make a living, get my kids, make my kids' lives better. It's a challenge to know what's right. Got no issue with wearing a mask.
Here's a practical example that I think is really important that talks about the misinformation and what seems correct and it seems conflicting. So the CDC said recently that the N95 mask won't protect against the smoke inhalation that was happening in Oregon and California, right? So instantly that became a meme and people said, well, smoke particles are much larger than virus particles. So therefore the CDC is, one, telling us conflicting information, and two, the masks aren't effective, right? So that was the instant conclusion. And as a layperson, I actually had my podcast producer, I walked her through this, and she came to the same conclusion just based on what I was telling her, because she's a layperson. She doesn't understand that, right? And so the truth is that there are two options. When you're presented with information, you can, one, ask a local trusted expert, make your world smaller, say, hey, is that true? And two, the other thing you could do is go to the internet. If you're going to make your world bigger, you better double check. So the first thing I did, just to see what was out there, I typed CDC smoke mask. That's all I typed into the thing. And the first article was PolitiFact talking about how this is not a true statement. This is a false statement because we're not trying to protect us from virus transmission. We're trying to protect us from water droplet transmission, which are 10 times bigger than smoke inhalation particles. And they themselves contain thousands of molecules of viruses. So to someone out there, they may say the CDC is flip-flopping, right? They're changing their position. They said masks work, but now they're saying it doesn't work. And so what I'm saying to you is, like, the perception of misinformation, the perception of conflicting information is not true. And it's as somebody who has to, as a profession, because I reach so many people, read everything that comes out, literally every single coronavirus article I get my hands on. I can tell you the stuff that is wrong is quickly discredited amongst experts. But then, again, we know the power of this. Facebook is the enemy of the people.
Neil, we have a few minutes left. What's your thoughts about this upcoming flu season? Just out of curiosity.
I think it's going to be okay. So there's two sides to it. We have New York and we have everywhere else. So in New York, we're going to be fine. Flu activity has been the lowest it's ever been because everybody's wearing masks in the Southern Hemisphere. And we're doing everything we're supposed to do.
Right.
But it is going to be a horrible fall for this country. Okay? It is going to be a horrible fall as people move back indoors and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. We already know what happens when people go indoors, right? We know what happens in bars and restaurants.
Right.
It becomes a super spreader event. It's a very big problem. So for us...
Are you a flu shot advocate or...
Flu shots, we're going to be great.
Are you a flu shot advocate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you would be.
I'm troubled that that's a question.
Well, I mean, some people, I would guess you would be in your profession. I'm just trying to get you to expand on it. You know, why? I mean, some people take it, some people don't.
I got mine last week.
I'll get mine this week.
Just to kind of like leave you on this, I have a number of articles that talk about flu shot myths. One of my most popular, read like 30,000 times, and has like converted lots of people, says that there are two good reasons to not get any vaccine. One, you're deathly afraid of needles and you've never gotten a shot from me and realize how easy it is. And two, you're an adult and you don't want to. But any other reason is not medically accurate. And it's troubling that the question has to be asked, are you a vaccine advocate? Because
I'll tell you why. If you give me 2 seconds, because I know some chiropractor friends that are not pro-vaccine folks. So I ask it just to raise the topic. I'm surprised you're surprised that I would ask a question like that.
I'm surprised you're surprised that I'm surprised.
Trying to be respectful of chiropractor friends.
Right.
They're not qualified. They should stick to the backs, and then they should probably take immunology, biochemistry, and all of the other courses that infectious disease experts take and medical practitioners take.
Right.
They don't have the same training, and that's like Scott saying he's not a vaccine advocate. It's about,
I didn't say that.
Scott's
I
probably more
am a
qualified
vaccine
to make
advocate.
that statement.
I get vaccinated
But he is.
for
He
everything,
takes
herpes, the flu. I get vaccinated for everything. All right, we're at the end.
Scott does what he's supposed to do. That's the thing. It's fine. It's fine to want to be more informed, Scott. And I don't want to seem like I'm insulting you with all the stuff I've said before. It's fine to want to be more informed.
I'll take your word for it.
The misinformation is the problem underlying everything. It's misinformation.
Well, let's give out. We're at the end of the half hour, so let's give out some good information. If you want to ask Neil a question, he can answer it.
Right.
Go to Village Apothecary in Woodstock, New York. What's your website? What's your phone number?
WoodstockVitamins.com, 6790790.
Probably the best thing is WoodstockVitamins.com. There are podcasts there. There is a plethora of information there. You are a fountain of information in person or on the phone. So if you have a question that you didn't hear answered here today and you would like to speak to a local expert, which I think is great advice, because I think a local expert is much more reliable
than an out-of-town expert.
Out-of-towner, yeah. Call Dr. Neil Smoller up at Village Apothecary. Thank you for your information. Thank you for taking a half hour to spend with us this morning, and thank you for supporting the station, Neil.
Turn off your TVs.
And turn on your radio. Yeah. Turn off your TV and turn on your radio. That's a great thing to end with.
Actually, a song that ends like that. So,
come on.
All right, bye, boys.
Thanks a lot,
thank
Neil.
you. Come on back in a minute, and
be
we'll
safe,
have
be well.
Valerie Dwyer.
Take care.
Bye.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
A message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare.
There's pain that does not stop.
I feel trapped by migraine.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
I feel like I'm dying. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Central Hudson reminds you that summer thunderstorms can strike with strong, gusty winds, knocking down trees and power lines. If you see a downed power line, call 911 immediately to report it. Power lines can carry an electric current strong enough to cause injury or death. Stay at least 30 feet away from a fallen line. Don't try to move it or anything that has come in contact with it. And never drive over a power line. Remember, your safety matters.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Hi, my name is Jackie Levezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Oh, to get your windows.
Yes. Oh, we're on.
We're back on the air. Flash!
Boom!
Okay, man.
Last
It's been
half hour,
quite a
this
show.
Is big. We have
Thunder Thursday.
We have in the studio two of my very favorite people in the world besides you. Well, and the child of one of my very favorite people. We're joined for the last half hour by Valerie Dwyer. Some of you will remember her as Valerie Arnold, of Arnold Construction fame and fortune. And Malcolm Johnson, a community member,
Kingston resident,
lives in Kingston, and one of my spiritual advisors. How's that?
Thank you.
At the bar.
Yeah.
But you're here today to talk a little bit about the recent events in Kingston that has led to the loose organization of Concerned Kingston, a group of people like us here, sitting here, who are tired of what's happening here and are finally stepping forward, led by you, Val. Thank you.
You're welcome.
To try to change our city back to the beautiful, safe, and happy place that we remember it as.
Yes.
So what started the whole movement?
For me, so I live in the city of Kingston. I was born and raised here. I've been here for 43 years, other than 4 years in college. And really what started it for me was I live within a mile of 5 incidents of shots fired. So my husband and I got to a point where we kind of feel unsafe with our children being able to walk around to their friends' houses.
Bullets go more than a mile.
Yes, they do.
Right, thanks.
And, and especially during a pandemic too, right? Because everybody's quarantined and you want these kids to be able to go out and be with their friends and go to the stadium and things like that. So
is that what we want?
Daughter Molly's in the house over there.
Right. So it really began as that. And then it began with parents talking. And I just really felt that there were a lot of voices that weren't being heard. And, I think, whether you're, well, let me start by saying this movement is really about a community and bringing together the whole community. And I've tried really hard, obviously at some points we have to get into politics and we have to talk about people, try so hard not to, but we have to talk about the people that are making these decisions and are being should be held accountable. But, we're really trying to stay away and just come together, Democrat, Republican,
right, independent, not enrolled, doesn't matter.
Black, white, man, woman,
right.
everybody.
Right.
This is for the best of everybody. And if we don't provide all of our children a safe place to have a childhood and be raised, then I feel we're failing them. And
it's our job. It's our job as citizens and parents
Yes.
to step forward in that. And I just have to correct, because I'll get calls. Bullets don't go more than a mile.
Okay.
So my police friends don't. What did you just say?
Yeah.
I know that they don't go more than a mile.
With
But a
media,
mile
there's
is
a little bit of exaggeration too, Scott. I mean, so yeah, they go a
In
mile.
a Netflix movie, they do go.
Netflix movie they do, but in real life they don't.
Malcolm,
That's
how'd you
not
get
the point.
involved?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think what Val just said is a perfect example of what we're talking about. I'm here because we haven't been, friends for years and years and years. We've actually been friends for
48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours. 48
hours. I've met a lot of great people. Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
I've also been concerned as a resident of Kingston, seeing in just a few years, the time I've lived directly actually in Kingston, even though I've lived many years in Ulster County, the increase in violence and, also raising children now in Kingston.
You got kids,
yeah. And going several blocks away and there's a stabbing or a shooting. you start wondering, like, what's going on here? And
should I stay here?
Yeah,
should my children come back here?
Yeah.
Do you want Kingston to look like it does now?
Yeah.
Or do you want Kingston to look better? Do you want your kids to come back to this community or go somewhere else?
Yeah. And if you look at me and look at Val, you say, well, what do they have in common? Well, we started talking and we realized, you know, we actually have a lot in common, and we have a lot of the same we have a lot of the same concerns. And this is what I think is the problem: is people view each other from a standpoint of what's on the outside. You know, Martin Luther King
make
spoke
judgments,
about,
right? Make judgments.
People
right
being
off the
based
bat.
upon the content of their, character, not the color of their skin. And I also say, you know, today you could translate that into not into the content of their career or their uniform that they wear, but let's individually connect with one another and see what we have in common. And I think some of those...
In other words, the police aren't bad people.
Yeah. And let's talk about the issues that we find hard. We're going to have to. You can't just skirt around them. And I think often we'll find out a lot of those differences that we assume are in our mind disappear, but then those that still maybe remain, we'll realize, you know what? We're actually one human race, and we can still be friends, we can still connect, we can still associate with each other, but now it's turning into such a world of animosity and hatred, and the hatred isn't just staying verbal, it's actually physical.
Yeah, it's
And
bad.
and the onset of the violence here, the recent publicity about police officers being stalked off duty. That was
Their
on the
houses,
front page of the
their
Freeman
houses
yesterday.
being,
Their houses being videotaped.
Yep.
Why? Why would we do that? Why would we be opposed to law and order? What in the world makes you opposed to law and order? Are those who for $50,000 a year strap on a gun and a badge and go to work every day to try to make your world a better place?
Safe place.
Try to make you safe. Do you think we don't need them? Do you think we don't need the police? If you think that, go to a foreign country. Go to Haiti. Go to Haiti and see what it's like there.
Well, they don't even have traffic lights there, much less police. I mean, their police are the military folks, and they're like fortresses. It's scary. Val, talk about some specific steps you think you're envisioning in terms of trying to make this happen. I know you have a Facebook page. You might want to mention that.
Yes, I
right?
do.
That
Concern
grew
Kingston,
like
yes.
topsy quickly.
Yes. So there's a couple of things, and I'll go kind of. There's really four things. I had a great opportunity to sit down with the police chief a couple weeks ago. He was very patient with me. He answered a lot of my questions. And it kind of gave me, I think the direction that we need to head into as a community to be able to support the efforts of the law enforcement and their efforts to clean up the streets. So, if it's okay, I'd just like to kind of talk briefly, just so people know.
Half hour.
Just kind of the contents of the letter. We do have letters of support. We're doing pop-ups for people to sign, and the letter kind of just starts and goes through some of the things I've learned over the last few weeks about people living in Midtown, stories of, a woman who's lived in her house for 22 years and the house next door has 4 bullet holes in it, and she can no longer let her grandchildren sleep over. A woman who usually takes her dog for a walk and has resorted to letting it out in the backyard in the gated community because she's scared.
Yeah.
This is not okay. And these people, they need our support because it's not fair that they're living in fear. And it's starting to grow outside, this small area. It's growing, and we need to put a lid on it, and we need to support, the efforts to clean it up. And, unless there's some special fairy dust I don't know about, this cannot be done without the support of law enforcement and without the support of the community. Right. So my 4 points that I feel that we need to get behind, one is funding. This letter supports the approval of the new police budget, which would add 2 additional police officers. It would bring it from 69 officers to 71 officers. Our all-time high was 80 officers, and I'm hoping that over time we can get back there, because in speaking to a lot of members of the community, I think there's a disconnect between, particularly the Black community and law enforcement. And so I think we need to get Foot Patrol back out, so there's this relationship of community and there's not this fear of law enforcement. I think that's really important. What's also in the budget is for security cameras, street cameras. And,
it's a great idea.
They really need to, it makes a huge difference. The police can't be everywhere. And we really need to get that back. And so, despite, I understand we're not in the best financial situation with COVID. I know there's a loss of sales tax. But the mayor and the aldermen responsible for approving the budget need to understand that the safety of this community has to be a top priority in the upcoming budget. It's at the top of,
everything else builds off that.
Everything else.
Everything else
economy,
feeling safe.
Economy, education, everything builds off of that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is teamwork. And, I know that there's been a lot of anxiety with the additional officers and the state troopers and the sheriff. But if you look at the statistics that have come out, it is working. And, we can't do this alone. We have to be really proactive and getting a handle on this. And we need other involvement. And so it's the support of the teamwork. The other is knowledge. And I was very disheartened to learn that recently there was a decision made that if you have any connection, if you're a relative to anyone in any law enforcement, you're not allowed to serve on the Police Board of Commissioners.
Yes, and I applied and was denied for that reason.
Yes. And so, yes. And so even if, and just so people understand, the Board of Commissioners, I'm going to quote here, is responsible for recruiting, hiring, promoting, and discipline, as well as making recommendations regarding practices, procedures, policy, and planning of the police department. So even if you're the wife of an ex-New York State trooper, you're not eligible. There needs to be at least one person. That's like asking a hospital board to run and have everybody on the board.
Set medical procedure.
And not
with no knowledge about medicine.
And not let anybody have any knowledge of healthcare.
Absurd things I've seen in my public service career in 30 years. How you can run an organization with absolutely no knowledge about how it works.
Yes.
Is beyond me. It shouldn't be all police officers or former police officers.
Correct. But we should at least 1 out of 4.
But you really shouldn't violate my civil rights by telling me I can't.
Or is that
brand new?
Brand new.
Brand new.
Brand new.
Harris, Detective Junie Harris, one of the best cops that I ever worked with. Grew up and lived in Midtown Kingston on Van Dusen Street, or Van Buren Street. No. Van Dusen, yeah. No, it wasn't. It was the cross street. But anyway, Midtown Kingston. What many would say the worst part of town. Junie had a beautiful home there, raised his family there, retired from the police department, worked for the DA's office, and then became a police commissioner. And his advice was invaluable. He was a man of color. He knew the community, and he knew what the police department should be doing, and gave that advice. Now we can't have another Junie Harris.
Right.
And that
was
wrong.
changed during the current administration?
Yes, that was changed 3 months ago.
Wow. Yeah, that's really misguided.
And
super misguided.
It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not. And like you said, we're not asking for 4, but I think 1 out of 4.
Or how about just the opportunity? Why don't you read my resume? How does my resume stack up against the resumes of the other recent hires? They're all nice people, by the way.
Yeah.
Lovely people.
Concerned people.
All want to do the right thing. But you got to have some level of knowledge about the field in which you are judging people.
It's like asking a plumber to do surgery, right?
Yeah. And the fourth point that we're really hitting home is the transparency. I've been a little alarmed that recently in the last 4 weeks there have been situations, and I understand that not everything can be reported, but there was, on Labor Day, we had shots fired on East James Street, and that went unreported. There was
when you say unreported, in the Freeman or in media channels, or
it was
where?
it was, if you want to search for it, it was on the police blotter.
Okay.
But it wasn't, one of the things I spoke to the chief about is, fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of people don't read the Daily Freeman, so a lot of people do get do look to social media. So my point was, the City of Kingston Police Department, I feel really has a responsibility to be putting it on their page, because I know I look there and that pops up on my feed. And some of the other things, there was an attempted abduction on Clifton Avenue. There was a burglary at Quick Check. We also had an unfortunate situation a few weeks ago where, and this one really bothers me, we had police officers respond to a call on O'Neill Street at 10:45 at night to a woman being dragged down the street by her hair. And when the police officers arrived on the scene, they were attacked, and 3 of them were sent to the hospital. One of them is still out of work with a concussion. None of this made, and that one bothers me, because how can we really understand and appreciate what these officers are doing, the fear their families live in, and you're not doing the community any favors by trying to keep us in the dark and leave us out of this.
Keeping it secret.
No, but why are they doing that? Why do we think they're
less
doing
violent?
I don't know if I don't know the answer. I don't know if they're trying to make things look better than they are.
Minimize the
but
bad news out there.
And again, one of the things I say about this, one of my big issues is we're in a really unprecedented times where you have a lot of children, mom and dad both need to work, and the kids are left home alone right now.
Because they can't go to school.
And they're learning virtually. And so we have a really vulnerable community right now, and parents really need to understand and be able to keep their finger on the pulse of how safe this community really is. And we cannot become complacent, and we have to know. We have a right to know. So it's a lot about transparency.
Your group is hoping to influence some of these decisions and that are made by the elected officials, to shine a light on it, to say, hey, the public deserves to know what's going on, and we respectfully want to hold you accountable.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yes.
It's
I'm not looking to bash people. It's not personal. It's not personal.
It's for the greater good.
Yes.
A thought I have is there was once upon a time in this community the Council of Churches, and that was a great representative group across the board, and some really people I respect, folks like Reverend James Childs, and you can go on and on and on. And I'm not sure where church fits into everything these days. Probably not as much as it used to be.
It doesn't fit in anymore, and that's part of the problem.
I know. But these folks have been involved in a lot of issues previously in Kingston, where we had some civil unrest or something, gangs or something. And these folks were looked at as a resource to bring people together. In addition, because we have whatever the other opposition is, I'm not sure what the name is. It Black Lives Matter? Is it? I'm not sure what group it is. The group that you've started, and at some point we need to bring everybody together and say, hey, for the greater good, have everybody in City Hall and just have a community meeting with some of these folks from the churches saying, hey, we've been here, we've seen it, people of color, people, brown, black, you name it, whites, bring everybody together, and we just need
beige.
to.
I'm beige.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I do want to hit on, and then I want to give Malcolm an opportunity to talk, because he's got a lot of good things to say.
Good.
But that's the one thing. I think right now there's so much racial tension, and I've recognized it, and I've especially recognized it. When I started this group, I thought, well, this is about everybody. Let's all come together. And I quickly learned, that I was a little naive with that. And, I've started reaching out to people in the Black community. I've started speaking with them, and I have some other things set up this week, and that's one of the things, because just like I don't know what it's like to walk in the shoes of a police officer, I also don't know what it's like to be a member of the Black community. And you have
Hispanic
or brown, and the problem is you have the police are living in fear. The black and brown community are living in fear, and it's this vicious cycle. And if we could just all come to the table and start having these conversations that may be uncomfortable to start, but I've started, and some healing can take place. And I do, one of the things I really want to work on is trying to bring the black community, the brown community, and the police, the law enforcement together so that they can have those conversations, because it's going to make their jobs easier, and it's going to make the minority community's lives better, if we could just have those conversations. And I think it's really important.
Let's hear from Malcolm. We have about 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Sorry. I monopolized this.
Okay. But and going along the line with what Tony just expressed about gathering and the church, as a pastor, that's what I feel is so important. Here is an opportunity. In the midst of this dire situation you can find our city or our county or our nation in, here's an opportunity for churches to rise up and show the strength of gathering, show the strength of reaching across the aisle, as they say, and bringing people together. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of, he said, we must live together as brothers or perish together as fools. And I think, is that going to be something we just remember on his birthday, or is that going to be something we're actually going to live out?
365.
Yeah, but
his wish was that we live it.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, every day. And so that's why I feel it's important for us, especially right here in Kingston. Let's be a city that other people say, hey, we want a city like that.
A role model.
Be a role model. And it's also, we were talking earlier, because we both have children.
Well, 4 of us have children.
And what are we leaving behind for them, and what are we leaving behind for future generations? Are they going to look back? Are they going to and say, well, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, neighbor, you were silent. You didn't do anything, or you maybe even participated in the animosity and the division. Or are they going to say, I'm proud of this person because they stood up. They stood up to the table. They expressed the difficult questions and brought people, together. And it's going to be through peaceful, loving ways. It's not going to be through hatred, animosity. It's not going to be through division of either you're in my camp or you're out. It's going to be a way of connecting and bringing people together. I know the pandemic has made it tough for bringing people together, but
this is making it
tougher. But we had the tragedy of 9/11. But in my opinion, the one thing it did do is it brought people together. Neighbors that hardly ever spoke to each other then suddenly started talking on a daily basis. And now we're at another point where I think, we have to look at it and face the facts. We're not as united. We're supposed to be the United States, right? But we're not. But how does that happen?
Like the divided states.
Yeah,
right?
and we wish we could make sweeping changes politically, national and even state and local. But that's not going to happen that fast. But what can happen is what we're doing right here.
Yes.
Val and I just started a conversation.
You can change your own conduct.
Yes.
You can live
be a
the
role
example
model for others, and that's my hope.
Way. Yes.
Yeah. Or as another good friend of mine said, be the change you want to see.
There you go. You said it better than I did. Be the change you want to see. Reach out across and make a difference personally. The rest will come.
Yep.
If we do it individually, the rest will come.
Yep.
Can you give some contact information so if someone who's listening to this wants to participate, wants to be involved, to just
absolutely
please let people know how they can do that?
Sure. So
this is a very loose organization. It's not really even an organization.
It's taken off. We have 3,200 followers in about 10 days.
Yeah.
Don't call it a loose organization.
Well, but it didn't. There was no reach out. We're going to put a group together. It just came together. People are scared.
I woke up one morning and decided I was going to do it, and it just
and you've done a
10 days ago,
job.
and here we are.
And your husband said,
I'm crazy. Yeah.
So how can they find you?
So we are. It's Concerned Kingston is on Facebook. This afternoon from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, we'll be at the American Legion next to Kingston High School.
Great.
I would encourage anyone who's interested in finding out what we're about to come talk to me. And there will be letters of support about the items that I spoke about. And then we'll also be at Dietz Stadium on Saturday from 8:30 to 10 a.m. doing the same thing. And then there will be 2 more pop-ups that will be announced next week. This is going to be a quick week of turning everything around because I need to get all the letters over to the appropriate individuals who are responsible for making these decisions.
Great.
So,
yeah.
And anybody can feel free if you want to message me on Facebook, Valerie, Errol Dwyer. My phone's blowing up, but I try to answer as best I can. If
Molly, what do you think of all this? Good stuff.
She's helped at all the pop-ups.
Yes.
Just by way of context, Val is also the CEO or the president of Harold Construction. She's a mom, she's a wife, and she's the president of a very big company here in Kingston. We're all very proud of you.
Thanks.
Then take the leadership role in a company that your dad or granddad started. So it's not, these are real people who really go to work. Malcolm, how many kids do you have?
4.
Yeah.
4. Yep.
You have the house on the Rondout.
Yep.
You're ministering to people every day. The daycare center. These are community people.
Part of the Bruderhof community.
We all look different, right? We all look different, but we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
And you can start it and break it right down till we all love our kids the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether you're poor and black or rich and white or a business owner or
in between.
rich and black, poor and white. We all love our kids the same amount.
Yes.
And if we start there, we can build anything.
Yes.
And our grandkids, too, by the way, for some of us.
I guess, yeah.
And I had, the late Christoph Arnold, who I'm sure you all know, he often spoke of an analogy of putting a pebble, throwing a pebble into, a pond and the ripple effect. And that's what I really believe Val has done is put the pebble. And that's what it takes.
It was
it's
kind of a boulder.
Yeah,
It was a boulder.
Yeah.
It was a
But
big
it's
rock.
a ripple.
And she launched it with a backhoe.
Right. But point being is, as you hear, it's gotten bigger, and I think this is what people need. I think a lot of people have been looking for this. Someone just to stand up and say, "Hey, enough is enough. Let's do something."
Yeah.
And one voice added to another voice becomes more voices, and I think that's what we're seeing. And I think we actually realize there's ways more actually uniting us than dividing us. Unfortunately, the media wants to portray it a lot of times in a different demeanor, but yet we have to overcome that with our love and our understanding of each other.
Yep.
Amen to that.
Good luck. We'd love you to come back
that's a great
at some
way.
point.
We would like a follow-up in 30 days.
Sure.
Tag You're It. If you're going to use the church to bring us together, tag You're It.
All right.
You've been looking for a mission. You've been looking for a mission. You got it, brother.
All right.
You got it. Yeah.
You're going to be sad you met me. I was going to say, you're going to be sad you met me.
Concerned Kingston. And I know that people say, I don't do Facebook. Do Facebook for this.
Right.
Go on Facebook
This is
and do
a
it for
worthy
this.
reason for
This is what Facebook is for. And I know people say, I don't want to do Facebook.
Nonsense.
But we're not a political organization. We're just a group of people who care about what happens in this city.
Absolutely.
Led by a young woman who is quite impressive. And you should come and check it out. Stop by today at the American Legion. We're outside. Yeah. We're not inside. We're outside in the parking lot. Come by and see what's happening. Pick up a letter. Read it. If you agree, sign it. If you don't agree, fine.
It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you for being interested. We'd like to see SROs back in our schools. That's part of this as well that we didn't touch on.
Yes.
They're being removed right now, or there's a movement to remove them. And we don't want that. We as parents don't want that to happen.
That's not a good.
So there's a letter about that too. Please come and see us.
Great.
God bless you.
Johnson,
God bless
thank
America.
you.
Thank you guys for coming.
having us.
We'll see you soon.
Molly, thank you for coming.
Yes.
With Mom. All right, Lawrence, brother. Love you. Love you too.
All right.
Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, KCR.